If you are tired of feeling like a failure, here's probably what's going on. You are trapped in a failure story and you wrote it yourself. I'm going to show you 3 ways to break free from your failure story so that you can move forward with confidence, you can feel better about yourself, and you're not just constantly beating yourself up, because that gets us nowhere, right? My name is Kate Wood. I am an integrative health and wellness coach. I love helping women overcome overwhelm, reduce their stress, learn to make friends with their emotions so that they can live more productive, happy, joyful lives. This is what I see happening with women. You get into this cycle where you're like, oh my gosh, why is nothing working? Everything I try doesn't work. It fails. Whether you are trying to lose weight, declutter your home, build better relationships with your children, get more organized, eat healthier, all the things that we are trying to do. We give it a go, and all of a sudden we're like, it didn't work, I'm a failure. And we make it mean a whole lot about our character. And number one, I'm going to try to encourage you to not immediately go to character assassination of yourself. So what we can do is take a look at what happened as an isolated incident. So I've been trying to work on decluttering my home, getting it cleaner so that it's just a really lovely place to be and not chaotic, because we have a lot of people in our house. We have dogs, businesses at home, and it's just a lot at home. So I'm trying to streamline it, make it a little more calm, as calm as it can be with 7 people and 2 dogs in the house almost all the time. I've been working on that. Today, my daughter came down and said, there's a faucet leaking. It won't turn off. And I was like, immediately I kind of went into a little bit of a panic. I was really frustrated. We bought expensive fixtures on purpose so that they would last a long time. And these are less than a year old and they're dripping already. So went up there, turned off the water to that particular faucet thing. It's not causing damage. It's not a huge deal. I put a Post-it note out of order, but I just found my brain and my emotions kind of spiraling downward. This house is it's too much. I can't handle it. I let myself have a minor pity party. I'm not talking about a long time, but I allowed myself to feel frustrated for a minute because I know firsthand trying to run from them and trying to immediately mindset myself out of it doesn't work, because that frustration, that cocktail is already in my body, right? So I did some tapping. I don't know if you're a fan of tapping or not. If you are, let me know in the comments. I'm able to teach clients, if they're so inclined, in order to help process and release emotions, which is something I'm really big into. And so that definitely helped. But the Holy Spirit tapped me on the head and said, Kate, why does this have to be such a big deal? It's a faucet. I don't know, because I was feeling dramatic today. Because I am putting efforts in, and I don't like the evidence that shows there's one more thing you got to deal with. There is a pattern. There have been an increase in things breaking due to the age of the house and the appliances. But do you see how I was trying to turn home maintenance into a character flaw in myself? And women do this all the time. So did I need to make it a personal failing? No, I did everything I could to make sure that sink was in good working order and the part broke. Is it frustrating? Yes. Did I allow myself to feel frustrated? Yes. Do I need to make it some big personal flaw in myself? No. If you are trying intermittent fasting or eating healthier or anything in that realm, and you went and you ate the thing that you said you weren't going to eat, and you're like, I'm a failure, I have no self-control, that's character assassination, right? And you might be like, I do this all the time. And maybe there is a pattern. We could be like, okay, and I'm going to lead into point 2 here. This is where we say, okay, something's not working quite right. It's not this terrible, unfixable flaw within ourselves. Something's not working right in that system. Is it that I'm trying to fast at a really hard time of day for me? Is there unmanaged stress in my life that I am turning to food for? I need to work on that stress aspect with a coach like Kate so I can set myself up for success in the eating realm. And so questions like, what didn't go quite right there? And usually there are some things that did go right, so I would also look at those too. But what would I do different next time? How could I tweak it? Do I need some additional help and support? Those are all fair questions. None of them make you feel like a loser. And I don't believe you're a loser. I don't want you to feel like a loser. There could be a lot of reasons why something is not quite working, and we can find it. I believe that almost everything is figure-outable. Thank you, Marie Forleo. I have to remind myself of that, because when we're in our own heads and our emotions are swirling, sometimes we think, it'll never get fixed. But if I presented a different point of view to you and I said, okay, this is what's going on. This lady, she's really trying to make sure her house is in good order, and a faucet started dripping. He'd be like, so? Sounds like she might need a new handle. She might need to call a plumber. She might need to ask her smart kid what could be done here. But you probably wouldn't look at that in someone else's life as a huge deal. Yeah, it's annoying. It's another thing on your to-do list. I get that. Would you look at it the same way if someone else described the situation as belonging to a different person? Probably not. And that's another trick. You could take it out of your own personal experience, out of your own ego, and be like, if my best friend told me this was happening, how would I think about it then? You wouldn't think trash about your best buddy, would you? No, you wouldn't. So what we need to do here is to start to rewrite that failure story about yourself, right? Because if this is the lenses that you are looking through life in, you are going to set yourself up for failure. I know that sounds rough, but whatever we think over and over and over again and feel over and over and over again, it's like we're telling our brain, this is who we are, this is what we do. And so I think that's a really weird way that we get sabotaged. Our brain loves to be right more than it loves to be successful. Isn't that weird? So if you are trying to do new things with the old mindset and the old emotions that are kind of stuck in there and you're not letting them out, you're kind of running away, trying to scroll them away. It doesn't work. Have you tried? I have. It doesn't work. But you still have the underlying belief that you're a failure. You have no self-control. Nothing works out for you. You're a victim. Everything happens to you. And I'm not saying that in the past there haven't been instances where you have been a victim of something. So please don't get me wrong there. But if you're characterizing your whole life as a victim story and as a failure story, your brain will find ways to prove itself right. And I know that sounds wacky and weird because you're like, no, I'm trying to do this thing. But in the background, beneath the surface, your brain's like, this isn't who we are. We're not successful in that area. We've never been successful in that area, and we never will because we're flawed. So if you're working with that voice deep in the background, kind of underneath what you're trying to do, it's not going to work. So we need to rewrite that. A few ways that we can start to rewrite it: hiring a coach like me who understands the mind and the emotions and the spiritual aspect and the physical aspect of all of this. A very holistic coach is a great place to start to up your chances of success by a lot. There's no shame in asking for support and being like, this has been tough on my own. I don't want to do this on my own anymore. I need some pointers. I need some help. There's no shame in doing that. The smartest people ask for help. They find the resources they need and they utilize them. Another one is to celebrate small wins. Even when I said, if you're looking at your game plan and trying to figure out what went wrong, also figure out what went right. And if, let's say you're trying to fast for 17 hours, and I'm not telling you to do this, but let's say that you were trying to do that and you made it 15, you got really hungry and tired and you ate and you broke your fast. Made it 15 hours. Don't obsess over the 2. If it's really your goal to hit the 17, then let's figure out what happened in between to set you up for success in the future. Does it mean you're a loser that you didn't make 17? No, you made it to 15. That's what I have to do for clients all the time, is to be like, no, look what did happen. Look how far you've come. And that's why I love walking this journey with people, because sometimes we don't see it in our own brains, but people outside of us are like, no, wait, I've seen huge improvements. Do you remember how you used to think about this thing a month ago? And they're like, oh yeah, it's totally different now. Maybe I am successful. Sometimes we need people to remind us that we are doing great. We are making progress. We are successful people. A coach can help you do that one-on-one. I also do that in a group community called the Mighty Hearted Community. And so surrounding yourself with a coach and other positive people who want you to win and who are looking to celebrate with you, even if it's the most minor step forward, this is a group that you need to be in. I will put more info in the show description so you can find out more about that. Put yourself in positive environments around other people who want to see you win and who believe in you. And that's what this community is all about. So thank you so much for joining me. I want you to quit your failure story, because it's like dragging a boulder behind you trying to run a marathon. It just ain't gonna work, right? You need a better story. We're gonna work with those emotions so that you actually feel successful. And we're getting ourselves into good environments where we can grow and thrive. So thank you so much for joining me today. If you want to learn how I work with clients one-on-one and in groups, you can go to katewoodcoaching.com. Go ahead and subscribe to this channel for weekly goodness and hit the notification bell so we can hang out again very soon. Thanks for joining me.